Okay, so I'm just recording now. So my name's Cameron and I'm a content developer at Admit Canada. And today I'm here with Mario, the managing partner and founder of Admit Canada, and our clients, Francesca and Nicolas from Lima, Peru. The two of them applied as a couple to various MBA programs and will be attending the Tuck School of Business this summer. So let's jump into questions. So my first question is, can you just tell me a little bit about your professional backgrounds?
Sure. I can start. Perfect. Well, I studied economics here in Lima, and I with a minor in finance. And since graduating, I have occupied finance related. So I have breathed finance since I ended school. So I mean, I have worked on a brokerage firm, also on an investment banking boutique, which was a very good experience since it was quite a small place where I was able to have a lot of contact with the C-suite and learn about a lot of industries. And for the last 5.5 years, I have been working at the investment desk at AFP Integra, which is the largest pension fund administrator here in Peru. And I would say that, just to end on that piece of the background, that I mean, in the future, I want to try to combine and complement what I have learned on finance with a sustainability scope of things, and try to optimize, I mean, good returns with sustainable and impact in terms of the investments.
Well, in my case, I studied industrial engineering in Universidad de Lima. Since graduation, I worked at Alicorp. Alicorp is one of the biggest consumer exports company here in Peru. I had the opportunity to be on different roles in Alicorp. I started on finance, but then pivot to strategy. And right now, we're actually 2 days ago, I just stopped working because of the MBA, but I was in a marketing role. I had the opportunity to do things related to marketing, and with clients, I always wanted to have that view of business because I wanted to have a more 360 view of how big companies work in the industry and how they achieve their goals.
Okay, so when did you guys decide you wanted to go to business school?
Well, in my case, since college, since the beginning, actually, it's a thing that I always thought of doing. Also, my father did a master, but in law, and he always thought that an MBA would bring me so much for me for the future. And I always investigate about schools and learn and read about articles. So since college, I wanted to do an MBA because I knew it's gonna be a very important opportunity, not also to learn new things, but also the part of experience to go to a different country and do networking with people all around the world. It's very valuable to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's pretty much similar in my case. Since the very beginning, I decided to study economics and not maybe business as an undergrad. I wanted to then complement these studies with a master's degree, and particularly an MBA. Considering that, besides having, for example, strong general management foundation, I wanted, same as Francesca, to experience how it was to live abroad, and take a risk, if I can say so, because I will have to do a lot of hard work, but still have this experience, and it was always in my mind to opt for the two full year MBA, full time.
Yeah.
And if I may comment on that, I think it's sometimes as applicants we forget that the road to the MBA is long. We tend to focus a lot on the application process, which is probably, I don't know, like 7 months from the time that you start working on your resume until the time that you get the offer. So there's a lot of focus on there, but there is a lot of work like years prior to that, so that when you get to that point, you have a good GPA, an interesting professional story, extracurriculars, all these things that make an application stand out. So So I think it's very important. I think the message here for prospective applicants is that I think it's important for them to have that long-term awareness that this is something that I want to do, and start thinking about, well, I'm here right now. What things do I need to do right now to get in the right direction? I think that's something important to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, so school selection is obviously a key aspect when applying as a couple. So how did you guys select your target schools?
You want to start, or?
Yes, I believe that selecting a target school, like as a couple, it's a little bit more challenging because you have to look for a school that adapts both of our goals, no? And Nicolas is going more to finance roles. I'm going more to a general management role. And I wanted to go to schools that provide us both the tools to succeed like after the MBA. No, and also important for us is the community. The networking for us was a priority for us. We didn't want to go to like a big city and a big school because we wanted to have this close-knit relationship with our classmates. No, and I think that's key for us. And that's why we actually visited the US, some schools in 2018. And as a tip, like
yeah, and I mean, I would add to what Francesca was saying, that we strongly encourage, if possible, to visit the schools that you, I mean, maybe originally wanted or have them as target schools, because I mean, as a matter of fact, and more than like an anecdote, we initially had 4 target schools, and we ended up applying to only one of those schools, because I mean, when we did our research, and when, as Francesca was saying, when we visited the schools, there was some feeling that I mean, told us that we were not just the right fit for the school, and that is something that you can get from conversations with alumni, with current students, but also I mean, by visiting the school. I think that it is something that definitely can kind of help you narrow your options, and of course maybe change your target schools.
What about the number? We always get this question: should I apply to, I don't know, 3, 4, 5? What will be your advice in terms of the number of schools?
It depends. I think it depends. It depends on I mean, the entire process, the time allocation that you have. I mean, the availability of time you have to dedicate for each of the applications. I think that, I mean, as a rule of thumb, maybe 4 to 5 schools may be wise to I mean, work in that application, so you can diversify and maybe increase the chances of entering to or being admitted to one of those schools, and more so if you are applying as a couple. And
yeah, you need to have like more, like diversify the portfolio and hopefully at the end have choices, right? I think in your case you apply, how many would it, 4, and you get into 3, right?
Francesca got into 4 of them. I was waitlisted in 1.
And also the 3 got into 3 of them. So
yeah,
yes, it's a pretty good result. But I think that 4 schools can help you like diversify like the opportunities and the chances to get in a school that you really want. No, and I think that if you go like more than 5, maybe it's too much schools and you don't put the enough amount of effort to each application. And the school can tell, no, they can tell if you have the effort to make the application, or it's just like a very like quick application that you've submitted at last time. No.
Yes.
And over time, I would just add, sorry, Mary, for that, just to finish our experience as a couple, which we think is very important, maybe for prospective students, is that, I mean, along the way, you will be able to kind of distinguish which schools, I mean, are more interested in couples rather than individuals. I mean, it does not mean that you will have an advantage by, I mean, applying together, but they will consider it at least. So I think that it is important also to take that into consideration when applying to the schools.
Yeah, I was actually talking to I think it's a friend of yours, Nicolas, somebody from Lima. He and his girlfriend, they're also applying as a couple this cycle, and we were talking about that, like how to select schools, and he was asking, does it make a difference to apply as a couple? Is that an advantage or not? And what I was saying is that you need to signal the school that you're applying with your partner. I think the school needs to know to factor that in the decision. I think that the school is gonna look at both applicants as a combo. It will be very difficult to pull one and not the other. I mean, obviously the preference will be to go to the same school, so that will be an important factor in the decision for the applicant. So the school needs to know that, and you can signal that. Sometimes there is a question in the application form, or sometimes you can use the additional essay just to let the school know that you know what, I'm applying with my partner.
Yes.
Yeah. So out of the schools you did get into, how did you land on Tuck? Why did you choose that school?
It is a tough one, I would say, because I mean, being in that position, we were trying to get as much as we could from alumni, also from current students, and I think that one piece of advice that we took very seriously from Mario is that we took our time making the decision, because obviously you have always a top school and you have a preference over those schools, but in the end you should be open to keep searching on the schools, because I would say that there is I mean, prior to being admitted is one way to view it, and although the research that you can do, and also I think that the fact that in my case, and I think that it's similar for Francesca, the thing that convinced us about TUG is that we were able to confirm afterwards that the school actually had a close-knit community. I mean, we had like 7 or 8 calls from alumni after being admitted, and the willingness they had to help us to make the decision, I think it was outstanding. And even the school staff. I mean, I received an email from the dean who told me, I mean, if you want to chat with me 30-20 minutes, I'm free. So of course I took advantage of that and had a conversation with him, and it felt great. That's what we wanted to from a school, and of course it felt as I mean, we wanted to go to the school that will be our home for the next 2 years, and that it's very important. That was very important for us at the moment of the decision.
Yes. Yes, I believe that, as Nicolas said, like the people and the community, when you're admitted to the school, is really important. Like in TAG, like the post after getting admitted was amazing. The experience, like we got mails from different alumni. The admitted student weekend was awesome. Like I felt the energy of all of my prospective class and the staff, and that made me realize that I really like fit in TAG, no? That's why we made a decision of going to TAG together. And we both felt comfortable with the people in our prospective classes, internationals from Latin America. And it was pretty cool to see how we have made connections and we haven't even get into campus, no? So it's like, wow, we are really looking forward to go to TAG.
Yeah, and in the end, I think that at some point you have to trust your feelings. I think schools do a very good job on selecting candidates. So you will end up, I mean, attending school. That is something that a friend of mine told me. You will end up going to the school that you will make the best fit. And I think, I mean, of course, we have not started yet, but I'm sure that I would not regret the decision. Because I mean, around the decision, there will be a lot of myths about the schools and you will receive a lot of information. a lot of information that, I mean, you will feel probably overwhelmed. But I think that the key there is to be patient, take your time, be patient, sorry, take your time, and try to, yeah, enjoy the ride.
You have to admit it.
Yeah, enjoy the ride, and I mean, try to get as much as you can from the people that is willing to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. So both of you applied in the second round in January. So some people think that it's better to apply in the first round. So what would you recommend to people choosing the first round over second round applications?
I believe that you have to apply whenever you're 100% ready. Like Mario gave us that advice. We were like hesitating between round 1 and round 2. In round 1, we didn't have the GMAT in round 1. And Mario told us like to really apply to a round that you feel comfortable with your application, with all the parts of the application. So I believe that between round 1 and round 2, they say that maybe there's a disadvantage in scholarship, but in round 2 we both got scholarship. So I believe that if you really have a solid application, you should apply in the round you feel like more comfortable. I do believe that round 3 it's a bit more challenging, so I will wait for round 1 for the next year, you know. But between those rounds, I believe that choose the one you feel comfortable.
And maybe it was not our case, but you can be just to add on. I mean, I totally agree with what Francesca has just said. But maybe you can, if you're in the position that you have a strong application and you are just in time for applying in round 1, you can be strategic and kind of diversify your chances by applying to 2 or 3 schools in round 1 and then in round 2. But I mean, it was not our case, particularly mine. I wanted to build a stronger application, so I was just not ready for round 1. Luckily, I mean, due to hard work, I think that I was able to build a stronger application for round 2. And I mean, I think that the bottom line is you have to apply when you're ready.
Yes,
100%.
Yes, that is always my advice, and but it's not a straightforward decision. There are different factors in making that decision. The only thing with applying to some schools in round 1 and then into smaller schools in round 2 is that you will have to commit, like make the deposit. So if you get accepted in first round, you have to make the deposit before knowing what's going to happen with the second round schools. So in some cases it could be, I don't know, $3,000, but in some cases it could be, I don't know, 10, 12, 15, depending on the school, and you need to be aware of that. There are people who are more than willing to pay that money, but it might not be the case for everybody. So again, I think it's going back to your point. I think you need to feel that you have made your best effort, and if that means applying in first round, you have the best application possible, go ahead by all means. But if you feel that you need a little bit more time to, I don't know, work on your GMAT or work a little bit more on your essays, I would really say wait until round 2.
So just adding on to the application processes, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of them?
I think we can agree that the GMAT.
Definitely the GMAT. I mean, in my case, without doubt, the GMAT. It has been like the worst experience I have had. Mario is, of course, I mean, he has witnessed the suffer and the process,
the suffering,
but nothing that the suffering, but nothing that hard work and patience and perseverance can do. I mean, maybe my best piece of advice on that regard is do not hesitate to ask for help. Number 1, try to to plan ahead. That is something that maybe going backwards, it was a mistake from my side. I underestimated the GMAT. I think that it's something common among applicants, prospective students, sorry. So, I mean, plan ahead, be strategic. I mean, keeping an error log was definitely a huge advantage because I was able to focus on the weaknesses I had in the exam. And I mean, have of course, be aware that it is difficult for everyone. That is something that always came to my mind when I felt frustrated about the GMAT. And try to get a little more confidence on yourself. I mean, it's a long road. I would say that it's not easy again, but it ultimately depends. I mean, I know that there are lots of applicants that need 3 months to study, but there are other ones that need a year or so, maybe 2. So I mean, as I was saying, plan ahead, and try not to frustrate that much.
Yes, like in my case, I would say that do not procrastinate. Like in my case, I was with the GMAT like a year because I studied 1 hour a week and then 2 hours a week, and it doesn't work. You have to study like you have to be totally focused on the GMAT, and I think you can get it like in 6 months if you totally focus only on the GMAT and prepare for the GMAT, maybe with some tutors, maybe with online like courses. For me, it really worked to be GMAT online. Like I subscribed to eGMAT, Nicolas also, and it helped me a lot in the verbal part. For me, it was like I wanted to have a greater grade in the verbal part, and I strongly recommend that do not procrastinate with the GMAT. Like totally focus, make it a goal. Like I wanted to get it out by December, do it by December, and I think you will get it.
Yeah, and I just would add 2 things. There are a lot of resources you can find a lot of resources. So it is important to ask to people that already passed through this, so they can give you advice on the GMAT, and also, I mean, it depends on the way you study, and try to choose the one that fits with you or your approach for studying. And of course, asking people will make you that search more efficient. And I think that's pretty much.
And don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up, definitely. And I mean, I lost. I was going to say something more, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think for the GMAT, so if somebody's going to apply, let's say September 2022, I think the target should be to have your GMAT ready by December the year prior, so December 2021, and then from February to September, like 6 months, like fully dedicate to your application. I think that's the best approach, because very often we see candidates approaching us saying like at this point, like almost like 2 months away from round 1, telling me I'm just starting with my GMAT, can I make it to round 1? And I say, of course you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure. I remember what I was going to say. It's that, I mean, it's my personal advice. Do not quit if you're working. Do not quit your job for studying the GMAT, because you add additional pressure to the one that you already have, which is huge. So try to, I mean, again, plan ahead, be strategic, and try to avoid additional or, I mean, those unnecessary pressures that may add or, I mean, hurt your performance in the exam.
And in your case, like how much would you recommend to allocate for the like the application process, like from the time you start working on your resume to the submit?
I think that aside from the GMAT, starting the other part of the process if you're applying in round 2, like starting in October, might be I mean, reasonable.
Yes.
Okay, so at least 3 months prior to your deadline.
3 months, yes.
Because I mean, I remember clearly a conversation we had with Mario, that you will get expertise along the way. So the first school will be the hardest one. And I remember that the last application that we worked, I mean, it was like in a week or so.
Yes.
So I guess aside from the GMAT, essay writing can also be very demanding. So how did you guys find this part of the process, and what would you recommend to other applicants?
I believe that for the essay process, I would recommend to have like an advisor. I really believe that having someone that could give you like an external view of how you're gonna see, how you're going to other universities gonna see you in the application, like what is your, like, how do you stand out from other applicants, and having like maybe an introspection of self-reflection on what are your goals, what are your strengths, how you're going to write the essays, which topics are going to use. Having an advisor and having someone that have the experience really helps. Like in my case, I really struggled like with the first essays because I didn't know what to write about. And I believe that having what Mario gave us, the personal brand like statement, writing all the questions, like I was like really suffering because like with 20 questions, and I'm like, oh my God. But it really helped me with the essays, because if I have a doubt or an idea, I come back to the personal brand statement that Mario made us write, and that really helped me with my essays.
Yeah, same in my case. I think that it depends on everyone, of course, on each person, sorry, but I enjoyed clearly more the essay part than the GMAT. But it demands a lot of hard work also. I mean, it's a different kind of pressure.
Yes.
You have to make a lot of introspection, a lot of self-reflection, I would say. You will have to ask yourself questions that probably you have never made to yourself. And of course, you will get better over time with the essays. But it is important also, Francesca was saying, try to find someone that can guide you along the way. Because, I mean, maybe coming from Latin America, particularly from Peru, we're not used on how the entire school system work in the US. And of course, having someone with experience that can guide you and help you to be more efficient, and in the same way trying to not lose your true self. That it's something that I highlighted in the end when we had a feedback meeting with Mario, is that, I mean, the ideas came from us. And I would encourage people to try to work, I mean, whoever they choose, to work with someone that kind of respects your own ideas and tries to never lose that true self, or the fact that the one who is applying is the applicant, and not the advisor. So I think that it's my best piece of advice on the essays, and deciding or not to work with an advisor.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes applicants feel tempted to kind of try to say to the schools what they believe that the school wants to hear, and in that process they become somebody else, like the perfect applicant. And I think, as you were saying, Nicolas, I think it's very important to make your essays your own. They need to reflect the way you think. They need to reflect your values, your distinctive experiences. And when you hit submit, I think you need to feel that this is my application, and I feel completely comfortable and satisfied with the work that I put together. So I think that's very important. And as an advisor, I think I went through application process myself, so I understand your point. And as an advisor, we need to be respectful of that, and know, like, when there is that fine line when you're trying to push too much on a specific idea. you need to respect that line. Not remember exactly when we were talking about that essay in particular. It was one of the talk essays. I had one idea in my mind, and you said, you know what, I don't really feel comfortable with this approach, and I step back and let you reapproach the essay in a way that you felt that it was more representative of your ideas, and the output. Well, we know what the output was. So I think it's very important to realize that, and again, so the advice is make your essays your own, and always try to be authentic and true to yourself.
And be comfortable with the essays, because I can assure you that in the next steps of the application, the interviews, for example, if you're able to get one, they will ask you about your essays. So you have to be comfortable with I mean, your own experiences. So that's it. I mean, in a nutshell, I think that's it.
So what factors were you looking for when selecting an advisor?
I think that it's pretty much the same that we just answered in the last question. It's trying to find someone that will give you the flexibility to put your ideas into the application, while of course guiding you and helping you to build a strong application. And I think that's it. I mean, of course, someone that you feel comfortable with working.
Yes.
Yeah. So then just my last question, what would you recommend to other couples applying to a graduate degree?
I believe that if you're truly committed to the goal of having an MBA, I truly believe they're going to achieve it. Like, try to be patient, trying to see the other's point of view, the pros and cons of going to a specific school, and seeing yourself at like as one application, like different application, but it's like a couple and you have different goals, but you want to do an MBA together. So if you have that in mind, it's really important, like choosing the schools and also like choosing the advisor and choosing when to apply together. No, not applying like one in round 1 and the other in round 2. I believe that you have to apply together because it's a common goal.
Yeah, that's very important, actually. I mean, we have been together for the last 11 years. So we had this common goal for a while now. And of course, COVID-19 kind of shuffled our plans. And I think that what Francesca has been saying, it's focus on those schools that care about couples. To different degrees. I mean, it's not binding, of course. If you have a top school or a target school, since you were a child, you should apply to that school. But trust the process. I think that that is something, going backwards, that I would mostly advise to prospective students, is to trust the process and be patient. Of course, try to apply, as Francesca was saying, in the round that you both have strong applications, and that's it. That's it, pretty much.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best in this next stage.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very exciting. So we will stay in touch for sure.
Yes,
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time also.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.